Hello, and welcome back to the No Excuses podcast. I'm sorry it's been 3 weeks since I last recorded, but if you found me again, thank you very much. You're welcome to come here and listen to me yatter, basically, about the things I've been up to, mainly knitting and eating. So there we go, we'll get off to a good start. Today is Saturday, the 17th of December. I've written myself some scant notes. And we will, well, I say scans, I do have a theory that, because the days are getting shorter, that everything's going faster, because I just don't know where time's going to. Having said that, most of the days I don't do much. Yeah. So how are you? I hope you've been all right in the last few weeks, that you've had no disasters or anything. And if you have, that you're over them, that you've not been poorly or anything. I've had a couple of, not struggles, but I find winter difficult, more difficult than summer. But it is what it is, as they say. I don't really like that saying. Don't know why I'm saying it. So let's get into the podcast, because I don't want it to be too long. And I haven't got an awful lot of progress to show you, but I thought I'd better come and chat to you before you lose interest. So everything I talk about will be down below, and that includes details about how to contact me through Ravelry, Instagram or email. I'll put the hashtags for Instagram for the make-alongs that I'm running, and also any other details I think you'll need to know. If I mention any patterns, I do go and have a look to see if they're also available on non-Ravelry. I prefer to use Ravelry where I can. But occasionally I will buy patterns off PayHip if they're not available on Ravelry. And a lot of designers are now having their own websites where they're selling their own patterns direct to the public. There's only one mail running at the moment. We'll start a new one in the new year, but something new in 22 ended at the end of November, and because of the postal strikes and generally at this time of year, it all gets a bit frantic with the post anyway, doesn't it? I will be sending the winner a parcel after the Christmas rush is over, probably about the first week in January. And the winner of the something new in 22, I'm going to announce now, because I've already been in contact with her to check that it's okay to delay the parcel getting to her. And it's Anne. And she lives in Rhode Island, and that's all on Ravelry, so it's public knowledge. And her Ravelry name is Aloha. I knew I couldn't say it. Aloha. I've really messed that one up, haven't I? It's not as complicated as it sounds. I daren't have another go. Aloha. And she made the Autumn League jumper, and I will put a photograph in here of the lovely jumper that she knitted earlier in the year. Thank you very much for entering, everybody. You had some lovely things, and some of the things were quite challenging that you did, and some of the things were like, let's have a go, and it worked. I don't think there were anybody who wrote and said, actually I didn't like what they tried. So, but it's a good excuse, isn't it? Just enter a mail. It's easy to do. You can enter on Instagram, Ravelry or email. So, and if you're struggling with any of those, give me a shout. The jump along that's running until the end of March, there'll be hashtags for these down below, is any adult size garment with sleeves, except if it's one of these adult vests that people are wearing, like we would call a tank top, over a blouse or a shirt or something. I'm allowing them this year, because there's some really nice ones that I quite fancy. I've seen one with a V-neck. I don't think a round neck one would suit me really. I don't think, for me anyway, having big bosoms, round necks sort of make everything look a little bit more rounder. That makes sense. So I'd prefer a V-neck where I can, to be honest, or a scoop. But anyway, enter the jump along, please. Well, it's not compulsory, but and then in the new year I will make up something else. so we can have another year-long make-along. Now, what am I wearing? Well, I'm wearing my house jumper because I'm at home all day today, but I thought, because it needs a wash, because I've had it on a while now, it needs freshening up. It's not dirty, it doesn't smell or anything. I may have dropped a couple of beans down it the other night, you know, bin wipes and that, but you could do it going in the washing machine and out on the line with my socks when I do them next week, if we get the weather for hanging stuff outside, that is. So I've topped it off with the Amulet shawl by Helen Stewart of Curious Handmade, and this is one of the first shawls I made, and it hasn't been blocked for a while, as you can see. The end is curling up a bit, but it's in 2 different colours of the Wool Barnes BFL cashmere and silk. It's 70% BFL, 20% silk and 10% cashmere. Feels really, really nice. It's fluffy. It's got fluffier with time, because I wear these quite often out under a coat and stuff. But I really like the colours. This colour here is chestnut, although I wouldn't say it was really a chestnut, but that's chestnut. And this green is aniseed. And then in the aniseed, I don't know if you can see, it's glinting off the light or anything, there are some copper lined beads. Yeah, I quite like Helen Stewart's patterns. I think some of them can be a bit samey, to be honest. I haven't made all of those that I own when I bought, like the Shawl Society. I've made about 3 or 4 different ones. And also, if you're new to shawl knitting, I think the way she lays out her patterns is very good. But if you're, what I'd like to see really is an alternative to save on paper, because it's nice to mark things off if you're using paper, would be a condensed version where she also does a version where you don't have to have it line by line. I think that would be nice, because I'm not very good at reading patterns ahead. We'll talk about that again in a minute, and so when it changes and everything, and I think I'll just start and get going, and then you think, well, why have I printed all this paper just to tick off a row that I don't need the written instructions for again and again and again, like the garter and the rib and even the lace, to be honest. So on some of the lace on here, which is, you know, quite simple. So, and that's not a criticism really, it's just a point that personally I'd like to see a condensed version. So I printed one of her patterns out, and it was like 8 pages. So I printed it 2 on 1 page, and then it was quite small, but you know. Anyway, that's my moan for the day. Not really a moan, just something I'd prefer to see personally. But yeah, if you're new to shawl knitting and you think it looks a bit daunting, then her patterns are excellent for that, because you get the full guidance and you can literally tick as you go. So yeah, so this is the Amulet shawl by Helen Stewart, and I made it quite some time ago, I think about 2016, something like that. It's on Ravelry, if you want to look anything else up. I probably haven't put any more details on there. So yeah, so that's what I'm wearing. What have I finished? Nothing. I've not finished anything. I have been working on the Felix jumper, and I am nearly at the bottom of the body. This is the Felix jumper by Amy Christoffers. Very popular jumper. I would say it was Aran weight. Now, the only thing I haven't checked is what size needles I'm using, but the neckline, and then this is a series of greens that I bought from Emma at Yarnworthy, and I'm using that lovely Suri Alpaca that I got from her, called Eat Your Greens. And I think near the bottom, because I'm getting near to the hem, there's a colour, the BFL's called Eat Your Greens as well. So I've done, it's 3-stranded, 2 4-ply and 1 of the Suri Alpaca, and it goes down. You can't see, there are hints of colour, a bit of yellow and a bit of blue in there, but they're not probably easily noticeable on the camera. But as we go down, I was hoping to have got to the bottom. You can see that quite a dense, sorry, I moved the camera then, quite a dense green, and I've run out of the dark green because I need to use some for the sleeves, so I've introduced another colour, which I think is called Highland Moor. Oh, I'm trying not to lose balls of wool because they're attached to the jumper. That's trying to escape. And it is this from Rhapsodye Dye Works, Emily, and it's got greens and purples and well, different purples, and it's gorgeous and a lilac-y colour, and that's going in the bottom. So now I've got 2 of those and 1 of the green, and I've only done a couple of rows in that. I'm going to measure it when I finish the podcast, and I think I'm near enough now to be able to do a rib for the bottom. So yeah, it grows quickly, but I've been quite tired at night recently. Let's have a look at the depth of the armhole. Yeah, I'd say that for this style of sweater, that's probably just, it's probably about 13 inches, so I'm ready to do a hem on there. Right, I'm going to put this away, but you won't notice this because I'll chop it out. Right, I put the Felix jumper away. I can't remember what size needles. I'm knitting it on using my symphonies. I think what I did was, I did a swatch, and I've gone up a needle size but down a size for the actual jumper, and because I like the fabric on the bigger needles, I think the jumper says 6mm and I'm doing it on a 7mm, but I will put all that onto my Ravelry page. And yeah, I'm pleased with it. It's going to be a nice jumper when it's finished. Now before I get on to what I've been knitting during the day, I just want to show you my Amma jumper again, which I've got here. It'll be a big crash in a minute where everything falls down. Now, you know, remember, this is a Maddie Harvey design, and I showed you this last time. Did I wear it last time? I don't. And it's finished, but when I was wearing it, I decided I wanted it longer, and because I had a whole skein of the grey left and some of the green, what I did, I took off what I'd already used. It's quite fluffy, this is. It's not felting, but it's matting together a little bit in some areas, and it's causing a lot of pilling underarm, you know, with me not being able to move very much. I do a lot more rubbing than maybe other people do, but you know, I'm just sat there knitting, and it's dropped great. It's got big lumps of grey yarn around the house as well. So I keep trying to depill it, but I don't know, you can't really see, but it's a bit, I'm just hoping that it's going to felt more than anything, because there you've got a great big wodge of loose fibre, and I don't want to pull it off, because if you pull it off and you reveal the knit surface isn't as fluffy, and I don't want to strip away all the fluffiness. I'm hoping it works its way in, but I'm not sure. But anyway, I lengthened it, and the yarn I previously used I put to one side with my other DK stuff, and at some point all my DK stuff will be turned into something or other, you know, like a blanket or whatever. It's gorgeous to wear. It's so warm, it's so soft, but I am concerned about the yarn giving out on me, you know, after a year of wearing it. I've stopped wearing it every day because I'm wearing it a bit like I use my house jumpers, get in the morning, put it on, because we've had such cold days, but it's not working for this jumper, so it'll go back into sort of rotation of when I want to wear it to go out in. And all I did is I put about 3 inches on the bottom, and I just did a little bit of ribbing at the end. I did enough ribbing to stop it from flipping. No, I haven't blocked it, I haven't washed it. It's going to go in the wardrobe in a bit. It's lovely. I recommend the pattern, I recommend the yarn if you're not somebody like me who is hard on their fabrics, on their garments. So I've probably got biscuit on my lips. Would you tell me if I had? So yes, so that's the Amma that I've I'm just going to get my next one now to show you. The thing I've been working on for about the last week is this, and it's called Advent Envy, and it's a pattern, it's an Advent style used for minis, by Amanda Rios, and I like this because I saw it that Mandy from Massey's anyway, Mandy made one last year. I'll put her podcast name down below, and I really like the texture of it. And as you can see, you knit with 2 colours together, and it's just a slip stitch pattern. It's quite a simple pattern, but it also looks nice on the reverse side, I think, because it's so textured. And I'm finding it quite easy. Now, it changes direction soon, I see from the pattern, so I'm not sure what's going to happen to it. But I am, sorry. I'm using my gorgeous BFL fade, and I'll put a photograph of it up here, or a couple of photographs of it up here, that I've had from Emma again at Yarnworthy throughout this year. And if she does something similar, then it may be the club I go for next year, because I'm going to allow myself one club and not buy yarn on a regular basis like I do at the moment. Yeah, and what I'm trying to do is match light and dark colours. I've got quite a few, there's quite a few mustardy tones, which are lovely, in the last batch that we had. And I'm trying to mix them in. I don't want them all at the end, if you know what I mean. I'm trying to mix them in with the other colours. And I think it looks very nice. Now, the pattern, as I say, is easy. The only thing, and it's got a nice edge, like it's got an I-cord type style edge on both edges. I would have preferred, because again, I don't read patterns in advance, but it starts off with a little bit of stocking stitch, and I realised too late that I would have rather that had been slip stitch as well, but then I don't know what's coming when you change direction, whether that's just stocking stitch again. So maybe I should just keep my mouth shut and stop whinging. Not really whinge. I just thought it would go better with the texture that you've got on the rest of the pattern so far. But I might be wrong there, so I will stand corrected. Yeah, don't mind that. But yeah, it's nice. I keep knitting on this during the day because it's so easy. Whereas really I should be finishing my Felix and doing this in front of the telly, because the Felix is getting unwieldy in front of the telly, and I keep dropping balls of wool on the floor, you see, because that's got far too big for me to sit on my yarn bowl when I've finished for the night. It's like teetering. So yeah, I'll swap it over today, I think, and do this at night and the other one in the day. I'll finish the Felix by the next time I speak to you. Do you know, I might even wear it. So that's Advent Envy by Amanda Rios. Do you know, I don't even know what shape it is when it's finished. I've had a look at a few projects, so it's going to be a nice surprise. The 2 colours I'm using at the moment, I'll just show you them and put it to one side. Is a purple, and this one is because I just did a couple of dark colours together, so I thought I'd better lighten it up a bit. Yeah, I'm really pleased. I love the texture. I've done something similar by using a knit one below stitch with that lovely Halloween box that I had from Beth at Beehive. But then what I've done with those is I've made tiny little crochet squares, got some of the DK out the loft, and I am going to try and make a little lap blanket. I said this last time, I won't show you any of it because I haven't made any progress on it. I need to join the squares together, get the wadding off my mum, and actually make a quilt and somehow attach the squares to it. We'll get there. You know me, I like to have plans. I change them all the time, but you know, excuse me, I'm going to slurp. So that's all I've been doing really. But life has been, it seems to have been very hectic, but I think I'm getting to the point where I'm so lazy. If I do anything, activity, it's a bit of a jolt to the system. Like going out the house, for instance. How bad is that? And I need to work on that, I know I do. I have got no incoming this month. I bought a couple of patterns, but I'd forgotten about them until I started talking to you. But obviously I'll show you those, because one of them's fingerless, colour work, fingerless mix gloves. And I'd like to make a pair because my hands keep getting cold. We've had really, really cold weather, frosty all day for the last week. It's been bitterly cold after having a very mild autumn. It's been a bit of a shock to us, and some places have had quite a bit of snow. We haven't here. We had a fluttering overnight, and it only stayed because it was so frosty. But yeah, so no incoming, but I have had 2 advent gifts. I've done 2 advent swaps with 2 very nice podcast viewers, and I'm opening them every day. Well, one every day. The other one I've just gone in and dived in and opened it because we had to change the format. I'm not going to moan, but a parcel went missing, didn't it? You know who you are. Not her fault at all, but the very, very, very naughty courier company lost the parcel. I mean, I'm sorry, but that's their reason for being, is to transport parcels, and they've lost it. Somebody's stolen it or they've damaged it, haven't they? Probably. So disappointing for the sender and the recipient, you know what I mean? But she sent me a gorgeous package instead. Needless to say, I ate all the chocolate. And I sat there and I thought, shall I open it? Shall I open it? Shall I open it? In the end, I thought, I can't contain myself any longer. I'm just going to open the whole lot. So I've got the Advent to open. It's minis. But I've ruined the surprise Christmas Day because I've just opened the other one. And it was lovely full skeins. And I will show you some of those when I start to use them in the new year. Say all this, I'll probably change my mind and start knitting on a jumper instead. But I might use them actually because I fancy another boxy. I could do a worsted boxy with 2 strands of 4-ply, and the yarn that I was sent would be perfect for that, absolutely perfect. But I say this about no incoming, but I've had delivery of 2 advent calendars, commercial ones, from Indie Dyers. One of them from Libby at Needle and Thread, who is going to be taking she thinks about a year off. So I have grabbed some bargains in her sale. So I've got that to open, but I haven't seen them in person yet. And then I also had one from Zakami, and their colours are beautiful. And I like the theme that they said their advent was going to be. So I've got those 2 advents to open. I usually start on Boxing Day and then open 2 every day, 12 days of Christmas. However, I have still got last year's advents to use, and I need to get on with them. I've got lots of ideas bouncing around my head, but it's that thing about wasting the yarn. Should I have done something better with it or different with it? And I've got to stop thinking like that, because actually, as long as it's a reasoned decision, it's not going to be a waste because I'm going to enjoy it anyway. If it's a pattern I like, why would it be better in a different yarn? Not always, no. I think I chose yak as one of my bases, but I don't know whether that was Libby's, the Needle and Thread one, or there's a Carmi. So that'll be a nice surprise, and I'll show you those when we next meet. So yeah, and then I've also bought a couple of skeins of Reign of the Roses on Etsy, because I've got a beautiful rose gold set of 4 from Fox Yarn. Oh, grief, for forgetting me. I'll put it down below. I should have written that down. And I needed something that was not too much of a contrast. I fancied the Aurora Shawl by Stephen West, which starts on Boxing Day. But I thought if I had a 5th skein, I could choose my mind, decide whether I wanted a garment. Sorry, I'm falling over my words. I am out of practice. Gabbling. Yeah. Anyway, we're nearing the end. Thank goodness they say. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry if I've gabbled more than usual. I've got this flashing light in front of me, you see, with the GoPro, and it flashes because it's on. And when I hooked it up, it said that the battery, although I tried to charge it, and it's a new battery, it said it was only 2/3 full. So I I don't want it to run out, so I'm a bit nervous about it doing that. Yes, I have other batteries available if that happens, but we'll see. So if you're only here for the knitting or the yattering about knitting that I may or may not have done, then you're welcome to leave now if that's your preference, but otherwise I'm just going to talk to you about what I've been up to. On Black Friday, Elaine and I went to Merry Hill, which is a large shopping centre, and we go there because it's near to Elaine's house. Well, it's about 3 miles from Elaine's house, and it's very accessible. It was obviously very busy, but we went there because we wanted to visit the Elizabeth Arden counter in Boots. And when we turned up, the girl, Liz, very nice, we met her several times over the years, wasn't there. Another lady phoned up from one of the other counters and found out she was on her lunch, so she was coming back. But they didn't have what I wanted. She'd run out of stock that morning, so maybe we should have gone there first, because what we did was we got in there and then found a seat in Marks and Spencer's, and I went to the counter. My friend Elaine doesn't see very well. I wouldn't be confident, I don't think, about carrying a tray with hot drinks on. So I get Marks and Spencer's to carry it for me, and they're more than happy to do that. So we went there, we had a walk round, bought a few bits and pieces. We were there longer than I thought we would, but we had a nice day. It did empty out towards after about 12, 1 o'clock-ish. It did empty out. It was busy when we first got there, so it wasn't as bad as I was expecting. Still miss Debenhams. I know, shut up, girl. It's been too long now. But it was nice to have a mooch. It was not as hectic as I thought, because a lot of brands have got their Black Friday deals on for most of the week, Some of them had started like 2 weeks before. But we were going for specific things, so, I've got mixed feelings about Black Friday. I think a lot of the reductions are not genuine, so you have to be careful about what you're buying and don't get carried away, Oh, I've just bought 4 tellies because there was 4 for £100. I don't know why I'm doing a Black Country accent. Or brought me one, I don't know which it is. I better cut that bit out, shouldn't I? Yes, so people get carried away, I think, and it can be, it can be something people get carried away with and maybe regret buying some stuff later in the day. So we went there on Black Friday. I've been to Longbridge, but I can't remember what day, because it was a spur of the moment thing with Mom. Bought another fluffy sheet from M&S. We bought a few bits and bobs, so that was nice. I took Mum to Merry Hill and we had a nice time there, although I was absolutely shattered when I got home. I find that I've been out, and even though I feel all right at the time, I've come home and I'm falling asleep. I felt quite poorly afterwards. And that was last Monday. But then I got home and I messed up the meeting that was supposed to be with Penny and Maggie that week. Completely my fault, because I'm an idiot, even though I write things down. My memory isn't what it should be. Do you know, 1 year, and this is genuinely true, 1 year I booked myself, and I think it was December, because December can get quite busy, because people think, well, I haven't seen you all year, shall we meet up? I need to make the effort to meet people throughout the year more. That'd be the easy answer. But I've got 3 things to do on one day, and it hadn't clicked with me at all. So I try and put everything in my diary now. But yeah, so I messed that up. That really, really, really annoyed me. And I was so angry with myself that I think I just got worn out. So I couldn't move. Got myself, got on the armchair and sort of fell asleep, really, about 8:30. Ah, dear me. Then, the Wednesday, that would have been about 10 days ago, I met my friend Denise, who I met at work, and we went to Ask in Worcester. We had a very nice meal. Now, I know you like to know what I ate. We started off with a sharing one, and we had sausage and mozzarella dough balls. The Andua sausage, just little bits of sausage and cheese, wrapped in like garlic style dough ball. Absolutely delicious. But I only ate about 3 or 4 because I knew I'd get too full otherwise. I like to have a bit of everything. I'm not prepared to compromise on that. And then I had the, I think it was a ham and pepperoni calzone pizza. So that's folded over. And I bought just under half of it home for Tom, because I wanted to leave room for pudding. And then for pudding, I had brownie, and Denise had chocolate and blood orange tart, and we had half each, and that was really, really nice. With Denise's, she had a raspberry sorbet, and that was delicious. It went really, really nicely with the quite heavy chocolate tart that we had. So yeah, we had a nice time. We went and walked around town, did a bit of shopping in M&S Food, as you do near Christmas, and yeah, we had a good time. It was great. We ended up getting home later than intended, which wasn't an issue, and I wasn't as tired as when, I don't know what happens. I really don't. And then that was on the Wednesday, and then on the Friday I was supposed to have a blood test for my annual check. Tom got the manual chair, went to put it in the car. Couldn't start the car, couldn't even open the doors. We had a flat battery. My nephew is a mechanic. He works on very high-end cars for a specialist company. So he bought a jump start kit up with him on the way home. Nothing. So it was dark by then. So the next day he picked up a battery for us and came and fitted it in the afternoon. Him and Tom did it in next to no time, really. And the battery cracked. And yet I'd been out with Denise on the Thursday, and Tom had been to the vets on Denise on the Wednesday, and Tom had popped to the vets and Morrison's on the Thursday. So the car had been in use every day, and I'm so pleased he didn't do when I was in the car, either on my own or with one of my friends, because we would have struggled really logistically. So yeah, so that was we've had a new battery fitted on the car, and it's fine now. And then Sunday we went up to my mum's. We took Bertie with us, me, Tom and Bertie. And yeah, that was nice. We had a mince pie with her. So she's making me a beautiful jacket, which should be able to show you soon. I bought some Ponturoma fabric from Sew Me Sunshine. And I tried to take a photograph of it, but it hasn't come out very well. Lovely khaki green and a navy. They're a bit thin from the Ponturoma I'm used to in my trousers. Excuse me. That's me gulping coffee. But yeah, it's she's sewing them up for me. I said, do you know what do you want for Christmas? I said, I love that. And then this week on Monday I went to the Swan that sits between Droitwich and Worcester at a place called Martin Husbandry, and it's a Marston's pub. And we had a nice meal. I had chilli and chips, which was made not with mince. It was made with like a braised steak. And the chips were the best I've had in ages. Didn't eat them all. I don't know why I say that. It's like I'm justifying it to myself, isn't it? And then I had melt in the middle chocolate pudding, which was the size of a small dinner plate, really. Not a small, a tea plate. So Wendy finished that off for me as well. But I really, really enjoyed the company and going out with the girls. And again, I wasn't too tired afterwards, but I took Judy that lovely Paul Drops shawl that I knitted for her, and she really, really liked it, and she put it on instantly and said she was still wearing it when she got home. And then that takes us up till that was Monday, and on Thursday I went to a pub near Elaine in Dudley with Liz, my other school friend, and we went to a harvester. And we went last year for the first time to have a Christmas meal, but we didn't end up choosing the festive menu. Sorry, that's noise off Tom's computer. We didn't have anything off the festive menu because it just wasn't the right combination. So Elaine and I had cod and chips, really, really nice piece of fish. it was obviously freshly battered, and it was beautiful. And I ate quite a bit of the batter. I don't normally do that because it could be too hard or too greasy, but it was really, really nice. And then I had apple and pear crumble, but again, I didn't eat. I was too full. Shouldn't have had it really. Or I should have had it with something with chocolate, because I always, most of the time I can manage to eat things like chocolate brownie. But I went to the loo and I sort of fell into my wheelchair, face planted myself into my own chair, and I bruised myself on my back of my hand because I had to try and get my hand, because my face was on the wheelchair seat, and I had to get my arm up to be able to push myself away from the chair, and as I did so, it scraped on the frame, and because and I don't know why, but my back of my hands bruise very easily, but the rest of my body doesn't. I, got these nice couple of bruises now. I knew it was going to happen as soon as I had to move my arm. But yeah, so we had a nice time. But Liz and I always have this problem of chasing the bus. The bus round here, the bus times have been cut drastically. And I know I moaned about it before. It doesn't matter what time we leave Merry Hill, which is where we normally go. We always end up chasing the buses, but this time she couldn't find any live information about the bus. She needed to get into Worcester for 5 o'clock, otherwise she'd miss the bus that she could cope with, because she doesn't see very well in the dark. So I ended up driving her into the centre of Worcester, and I got caught in traffic coming home because it was like 10 to 5 when I dropped her off. She got home marginally after me, but her bus wasn't actually till 5 past, so that worked in our favour really. And I was knackered, and I don't know, I wasn't really stressed getting her to the bus because I knew we could do it, but I'm just getting tired, really, really tired, and I've got to do something about my health in the new year. I'm not very good about sticking to things, so I need to give myself a good talking to. But yeah, so that got us up to date. Now, I'm going out on Wednesday with the Tennegut ladies, and I'm seeing Penny and Maggie on Monday, but that's only a trip round to the pub. It doesn't involve any physical effort on my part, and I'm decided that I'm not going to drink on Wednesday. I might have one celebratory glass of Prosecco or something, and then I'll have a meal, so I'll be well under the limit if showing anything, if I did get breathalyzed. But yeah, because I want to be able to get into the car easier, I'm just, it's a better thing. Last time I tried to get into the passenger side, it was a bit of a chore for me and Tom. So yeah, better do it. Stick to what's good for me for the time being. And then I haven't got anything in the diary till the 18th of January. I need to book my blood test again. I keep forgetting to do that when they're open. No excuses. So yeah, so that's me. So what have you been doing? Have you been out for meals? You've been out with people? You know? Have you, do you hide at Christmas? We've got just me and Tom at Christmas. Tom's going to go and get, hopefully, a piece of beef. And if he can't get a nice piece of beef, we'll be having lasagna for Christmas dinner. And why not? We'd have a chicken. If my mum was with us last year, we bought a free range chicken, but this year it's just me and him, so we'll probably have beef, which will be nice. And I bought some posh puddings from Waitrose, because neither of us eat Christmas pudding, although I love the smell of it. Because yeah, and it's a bit like a posh tiramisu. Saw them in Waitrose and I thought, what the heck, it's Christmas. Try not to buy too many naughty things to eat, because if you buy them, you've got to eat them. Don't like waste. Anyway, yeah, let me know what you've been doing. I'm sorry it's been so long since I spoke to you. I'm going to go now. It's getting darker. And I'm hoping that I'm sat in the frame and not, you know, the bottom of my face or the top of my head that you're looking at. Have a lovely Christmas if you celebrate it. Please don't get too stressed. It's only a day. And I know it's easy for me to say because I don't do any of the cooking. it's just another day, especially when you're older and you're an adult. You know, you've got kids around you, they sort of make it, don't they? But yeah, have a nice time, and I'll speak to you hopefully before the new year, or literally just after the new year has started. You take care. It's the wrong time of year to say be good. Be careful. It gets a bit slippy out there. I'll see you soon. Bye.